Hi friends, thank you for joining me this week for Sunday School. Hey, we're starting a new season in church. Do you know what that season is? It's not like spring or summer, but it's a new church season. And Wednesday was actually the first day that we started this season. It's called Lent. Do you remember Lent? Do you know what we do during Lent? Lent is a time that we prepare our hearts for Jesus. Kind of like Advent in the wintertime when we're preparing our hearts for Christmas. Well, this time we're preparing our hearts for Easter. We're getting ready for Easter. And this is a long journey. Lent is 40 days long. And this is a time that we really think about all the things Jesus taught us. This is a time where we think about how much God loves us. Sometimes we don't even do things that we're supposed to do, and we know that God still loves us. Which is what reminds me of today's story. Sometimes we do things that we're not supposed to. Sometimes we break the rules or we tell our parents no, and sometimes we just do things that are not nice. And that's because we're human. All of us make mistakes, and God understands, and we can say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, God, or I'm sorry, family or friend or whoever that you weren't very nice to, because sometimes we do that. Our World Kids friends, they get in trouble at a field trip. Let's watch.
This is so exciting, Victor! I love field trips.
A field trip to the zoo, no less. And what a stroke of luck that you and I are field trip buddies, Adelphia.
I can't wait. Oh, we better catch up to the rest of the group. Miss Cashbeard said to stay together. Wow! This monkey exhibit is so interesting.
I suppose, Adelina. I suppose. But hey, wouldn't you rather see something truly extraordinary?
Like what?
I don't know. Maybe the reptile house?
The reptile house? We can't go there. It's not on Miss Cashbeard's schedule.
But think of the educational opportunity, Ada.
Reptiles are fascinating. But Miss Cashbeard said we have to stick together.
We are sticking together, Ada, as field trip buddies. Besides, as the most responsible kid in class, it's your duty to come along and keep me out of trouble.
Well, you really think I'm the most responsible kid in class?
It certainly isn't me, Ada. It certainly isn't me. Oh, look, we're at the reptile house.
How did we... But we can't go in. The sign says it's closed for cleaning.
Nonsense. There's a perfectly good side entrance over there.
Whoa!
Huh. Who would have guessed that one button would release every reptile in the house?
What do we do now, Victor?
Now? Oh, now we get in huge trouble, Ada.
The entire field trip. We ruined the entire field trip.
What? Just because they had to shut down the whole zoo and everyone had to go home early?
I've never gotten in trouble like this. Are there rules for what happens?
Well, from personal experience, there will definitely be consequences. It will go well beyond being put in a timeout, I can tell you that much.
This is terrible. We're naughty kids now. Everyone must be so mad at us. Our parents, our teachers, God!
Whoa, 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 hey now. God doesn't think of us as naughty kids, Ada. We just got a little carried away and made a little huge mistake. The important thing is that we learn from it and do better next time.
So, we're not in trouble forever?
No. Trouble doesn't last forever. If it did, I wouldn't be allowed out of the house. Trust me, I've had to learn a lot of lessons like this. A whole lot of lessons. Just a ton of lessons from my mistakes. Lessons upon lessons upon lessons.
Wow, they got in a lot of trouble. I've never been in that much trouble. Have you? Well, if you have, do you think God forgives you? God does forgive you. How about your family? Does your family forgive you? Yes, because your family loves you. Sometimes your family can be mad at you for the choices that you make, but you're still loved. You are loved. All right, let's read our Bible story today. I'm going to read our Bible story from the World Story Bible. It's called Creation Disobeys. We can find this at the very beginning of our Bible in the book called Genesis. Genesis 2:15 through 17 and 3:1 through 7. God scooped up dirt and molded it into a person. God took a deep breath and breathed into the dirt. Adam's eyes popped open. God smiled at the very first person ever created. Trees and flowers sprang up from the ground. I've created this garden for you, God told Adam. I need you to take care of it, but don't eat from the tree in the middle of the garden. It's the tree of knowledge of good and evil. God formed dirt into animals of all shapes. Adam named each one: turtle, sparrow, leopard. God did not want Adam to be lonely, so God took a rib from Adam and created a woman. Adam named her Eve. Is this why we have aardvarks and duck-billed platypus? Maybe Adam was running out of animal names near the end. Adam and Eve tended garden together. They named even more animals: fish, cat, cow. But one day, the sneaky snake spoke to Eve. I know why God told you not to eat from the tree of knowledge, the snake taunted. If you do, you will know what God knows about good and evil. You will be like God. Eve sniffed the bright fruit. How would it taste? She wondered. How would it feel to know good and evil? She plucked 2 fruits and gave one to Adam. Adam and Eve took bites into the fruit. Immediately they knew that they had disobeyed. Ashamed, they covered themselves with leaves and hid from God. I wonder what Adam thought when Eve handed him the fruit. I wonder why they listened to the talking snake. Well, have you ever felt disappointed with things that you have done? I have. I've done things and then I've thought about it and I felt really bad for the way I treated people. So that's why when I treat people like that, I stop and I take a deep breath and I talk to God. And then God helps me figure out the words I need to talk to others, to say that I'm sorry and to please forgive me. So that's what we'll work on this week, is to say I'm sorry. You know, when you say I'm sorry, it's really hard to do, but it really helps the other person feel better because I know that you love those people too. Sometimes we just get human and we make a mistake and we get mad or angry or scared and we do silly things. So when we do those things, we can pray and then we can say I'm sorry. Well, my friends, for our craft, I thought we could look at different crosses. So I have a picture of a whole bunch of different crosses. And I thought maybe you could draw a picture of a cross to remind us about Jesus, or a picture about saying sorry, or maybe a card to tell somebody you're sorry. That's what I would work on this week. All right, my friends, I will see you next week. Bye-bye.